Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the entertaining minds of complicated people. Today, I am joined by our community manager and co-host for today, Nat,
Hello.
and I'm joined by Harry as well.
Hello.
So, before we start, I'd like to just address issues from the last episode. So I think if you have listened to episode 5, you will notice that there is some very glitchy audio in there. Uh, for example, my voice goes very deep in some parts, and Harry and I'm pretty sure David as well. Their voices glitch out at some points. Now we have done our best to try and mitigate this and stop this from happening, but episode 5 it happened way too much. We have absolutely no idea why this is happening, and it could be due to the equipment we're using to record with, um, which we can't really help at the moment. But we're working on it, and we're trying to stop this from happening. All right, let's jump straight into it. So, first topic is Sony and Bluepoint Games. So, Sony have obviously bought up a lot of companies for their first party games, and it looks like they could be buying another one. So, Bluepoint Games seem to be more of a remaster studio or a collection studio, is what I call it, because I believe they've done Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, God of War Collection, and other collections. But more recently, they've also done the most recent Shadow of the Colossus. Uh, so they are quite a reputable studio, uh, to say the least. But it seems that Sony have already been doing like first party deals and exclusivity deals with them, and now it just looks like they want to buy them outright. But this is only a rumor, and honestly, I'd take it with a pinch of salt because it's not really been confirmed. But yeah, they're saying that it looks like because of Demon Souls, Bluepoint Games could come under Sony's wing. It does seem, as I said, like one of those studios that just does remasters, which is sort of a shame. I'd like to see more first party games that aren't remasters, but you know, another acquisition for Sony would be interesting to say the least, considering Bethesda was bought out by Microsoft, which obviously one of the high profile deals. So, Harry, what do you think of Bluepoint Games and Sony? Because it's worth mentioning as well, they did do the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection as well.
Hmm. Don't know really. This could be seen as very good for some people, but very bad for others because they'll now get more funding for making said remasters, but they could also be manipulated or forced to do some things that might make it worse.
I completely agree. Like being an independent studio with a contract is different to being a studio that's been bought up by a massive company. Because if you're under like contractual obligations, then you don't receive as much pressure from up top to do exactly what they want. But honestly, with the success Sony games have been having and the way Sony games have been produced, I honestly don't think that would be the case. I genuinely think Sony would look after this company, and I think, as you said, it would give them more funding to do things and probably make more games that aren't necessarily remasters. Although, if they did do another remaster, I'd love to see a Buzz remaster from the PS2 because that is one of my all-time favorite games. Yeah, it's only a stupid little quiz game, but still one of my favorites. Nat, what are your opinions on Sony and Bluepoint?
Absolutely no idea. I thought they were called Demon Souls until about 5 minutes ago.
Fair enough. Uh, don't blame you.
That's what comes from reading what it says on the Chrome tab rather than the actual article.
Yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. So, just a nice little bit of interesting rumors to start the podcast with. Again, not really We don't honestly know this, and again, it is strictly a rumor, so again, take it with a pinch of salt. But this company seems to be one that's been doing a lot of remasters, and so if there is a remaster on the horizon, then potentially Bluepoint would be doing this, and if Bluepoint are doing this, then it does also support the theory. But only time will tell. So, another bit of interesting gaming news, to say the least, is a brand new games console, and it's not what you would think of a regular games console, I'll tell you that. Because this games console has been developed by Bud Light. Yes, you heard me, Bud Light. So, the beer company who sells beer has decided to dip their toe into the games console market. It's a very weird concept, to say the least, but it's ingenious in some ways. So it's branded as the coolest console ever, and it looks like a 6-pack of beer. It's so it is crazy. So it is the same size as like a 6-pack of beer, and what it does is it comes with its own little it comes with like some controllers, like mini controllers for it, and it basically uses a projector to project out the side of the box onto the screen. And yeah, it's apparently it's got Tekken 7 already like pre-installed on it, which it's pretty cool. And apparently it's equipped with an Intel i7 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM with a built-in projector, and apparently it appears to be a Microsoft Surface Pro, basically inside inside this beer thing, 6-pack. I mean, like, yeah.
It's an
So
interesting concept, isn't it?
yeah, it's. I mean, I stumbled across this article by accident from PC Mag, and it is just like that. It is so random. Like the actual thing itself looks like a 6-pack of beer, as I said, but it's got little like beer tops on them, like the caps. And if you take the caps off, they all have something underneath it. So the front two are actually fans. The middle two, actually, if you take off the covers, they have games controllers inside of them, and the two at the back, if you take the caps off, they're actually coolers for your beer. Like, it is a perfect portable game system where you and your friends can go and get drunk and play video games all in one. Like,
It's perfectly portable up until the point that you want to use it for more than 2 hours.
yeah, yeah, it's just weird. Like I've seen my share of weird things, but there's not really much else to say on this. Like it just, I recommend you go check out pictures of this. It's called the BL6. It's just it is honestly a clever piece of marketing, and yeah, I'd love to get one. And
There's only one,
apparently,
I think, in existence, though.
no, there's apparently several of them.
Are there? I found
Yeah,
one on
and
auction here for $1,050.
yeah, so what they said here is they is Bud Light plans to sell a small number of the systems as charity auctions on shopbeergear.com.
That's where I'm looking
And
now.
yeah, and all proceeds will be donated to the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation. So yeah, it's nice that they're doing this sort of gimmick and also raising money for charity. I have to say, like, just running these sort of things for charity, because it is a great idea, because people are after novelties, and especially with what's going on right now, people are looking for something new and quirky to keep them entertained, and I think this is certainly it. So I mean, like, Nat, what's your opinions on it?
Honestly, I'd rather buy a laptop, or for 1,050 quid, an amazing PC. It's a cool idea. It's good they're giving money to charity, but it's not something that appeals to me in any way. I don't think I'm quite the target market though.
Harry?
It's absurd, expensive, but I can see I can see some people wanting it. My dad included.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he loves games. It's a win-win for him. Just the price.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the price is definitely an issue for some people, but you know, money goes to charity, for some of them. Also, I don't know if they are selling them separately for different prices. But if they are, cool beans. Uh yeah. And
You
at the
could get a
point
new MacBook Air for that easily, and have money left over to buy a box of tissues to cry about how much money you just spent.
yeah. Yeah, it's honestly just a weird, wacky concept, and the design is just yeah, wow. Just again, I recommend you go check it out. It's called the BL6, and it is a games console from Bud Light. So on to our next subject, and that is keyboards.
Oh, excellent!
And and so I know absolutely nothing about keyboards. That's why we've enlisted the help of our community manager and tech reporter Nat, who is going to do a review of that keyboard. You can say that.
I genuinely don't know. I can't remember how to pronounce it. I think it's Tiafing, but that sounds weird. So
Yeah.
basically, it's a mechanical keyboard. So rather than a normal keyboard, which has two plastic sheets and then a sheet of rubber domes on top, and the domes compress and press together the sheets, the mechanical switch has two parts which then release and let two contacts hit together. And you can get different switches. You can, just from cherry, for sake of argument, you can get reds, which are linear and lightweight. You can get browns, which are light and tactile but quiet. Get black, which are linear and heavy. And you can get blues, which is what I've got, which are quite light, tactile, and they have quite a loud click. So with that explanation out of the way, Marcus, you got any questions about the keyboard?
So compared to other keyboards that you've tried, how does this one compare?
So anything like a membrane keyboard, so the ones with the two sheets and then the rubber domes on top, they're incredibly mushy. This has got much more sort of crisp feeling to each keystroke. It's a lot more tactile. And compared to the other mechanical keyboards that I've tried, had one with black switches before this, and these are so much lighter, so much more comfortable to type on, and you get so much faster on them because of that, and because of the lighter weight.
Keyboards. So could you like explain to me the difference between like a mechanical and a membrane keyboard?
That's what I've just done. So basically, membrane keyboard, two sheets of plastic, sheet of rubber domes on top of that. Pressing down a key compresses the dome, and when the key bottoms out, it presses the two sheets together, making contact, sending keystroke to the computer.
Okay.
Mechanical keyboard has a switch which lets go and lets two contacts tap together, and then as the key comes back up, those contacts are separated again. So as those contacts hit, it sends the keystroke, as far as I can tell. I might have got that slightly wrong, but that's how I understand it.
Okay. I mean, is it an RGB keyboard?
Yes, it is very much.
um, is there any way of getting this keyboard without the RGB, for example?
No, but you can install the software and you can set it to be any color you want. So the design overall, it's completely black. It's got a brushed aluminium backplate with actually reasonably decent keycaps, which are just plain black with just whatever the key does on it. But the font on this is really nice. I don't know if this is still true of the new ones, because I've had this on my desk now for 2 years. But the font on this is, a lot of gaming keyboards have really big, chunky, sort of stylized fonts. This is quite simple and small by comparison. I think it looks really good.
Yeah. The thing about RGB keyboards, like, wouldn't they use up a lot more like energy as well?
Not anything that will be particularly noticeable, because they're
Okay.
all LEDs. They're all only letting out a small amount of light, so it's not going to be hugely noticeable.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah. Um, yeah, as I said, I'm no expert on keyboards, and
Believe me, nor am
honestly,
I.
yeah. Well, at least your keyboard is a keyboard. Mine is literally a detachable keyboard for a Surface Pro. Um, and the keys aren't very raised either. I mean, I kind of got used to it, but it's so easy for like my finger to slip off and hit another key, which just makes it a pain when I'm typing.
Yeah, I find this really comfortable. I think the one thing that I would have liked about it would be to have a wrist rest, but I think it would possibly look a bit odd with a wrist rest. And I've never had any issues without it. But I can get up to my full typing speed on this quite comfortably, which is really good.
I mean, design-wise, how does it compare to like other keyboards on the market?
I think it's, compared to a lot of very much of the gaming targeted ones, as I believe this is, it's very sort of simple and elegant, I think. Compared to something like the, say, Corsair K70, for sake of argument. So this is a 10 kilos keyboard, so which means it doesn't have the number pad on it. It's just got sort of all your main keys, function keys, letters, numbers, and that. And then you've got the print screen, scroll lock, pause key, home, end, page up, page down, all that, just as normal. So it's small and comfortable. It means you can have your arms a much more sort of comfortable width apart, almost shoulder width, which is much more ergonomic if you're gaming or if you're doing literally anything else. And it's got the brush back plate, which is basically behind the switches. There's a sheet of aluminium which you can see, which looks really good. The keys are also raised above this, which means you can see the switches. The lighting comes through a lot better. The only downside I found with this is that sometimes the keycaps tend to hit against the metal plate and you can get a slight sort of twanging noise. But I don't notice it really anymore.
I mean, it does sound like a good keyboard, and like if I did have like a proper PC as opposed to a laptop, I probably would buy something quite similar to that. But how much did it cost?
It was actually very reasonable, so it's £50,
Hmm?
which is, I think, quite a good deal for what you get. Like, there's things I'd say maybe a wrist vest would be nice or slightly more intuitive software, but I think I wouldn't say any of that just for the sake of keep the price where it is because it is such a good deal in my mind.
Yeah.
I think having paid for it and having used it for the 2 years I have, there's a few things I will say about it. So it is quite loud with the blue switches. If you want something quieter that feels quite similar, I think browns are probably a better option. And some of the keys are quite sort of rattly. I think that's just a stabilization on bigger keys like the spacebar and the enter key. And other than that, honestly, I can't think of any real negatives. The keycaps aren't the best quality, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. Though I have worn slightly through the black coating on mine, on the 3 in the spacebar, just on the edges where my fingernails tend to sit.
The amount that you use it though. I mean,
That is true. That's true. I used it all through lockdown. Every word I typed was on this.
yeah, I mean it's done its it's done its share
Oh,
of
it has.
work certainly.
It
So
has.
I mean as well, I have seen other keyboards as well, and they are upwards of like 150 for something fairly similar. So yeah, £50 is
Definitely.
not bad compared to the other ones
No,
I've seen.
it's brilliant. It's been really good. Just other things, I found it to be really comfortable for both gaming and typing. I'll often hit 150 words per minute. My average in a typing test is 80, but I'll often hit 150 quite comfortably. I'm trying to think of anything else. So it has N key rollover. That's another really cool feature. So basically, every single key you press, that keystroke will be registered. Whereas some keyboards, you can only press sort of 5, 10 keys at the same time, and all those keystrokes will be registered, which is good for gaming if you're playing something really fast-paced.
I mean, yeah, it is a big problem with keyboards. I know, like when you are gaming, because I did used to have a PC, and when you're like playing video games and that, and you just click a key, but it just doesn't register. Like it is the difference between you surviving and getting killed. I mean, again, it's only a video game; it's not life or death.
Yeah, completely. But still. And on that same vein, it's got some rubber pads on the bottom at both sort of on the side closest to the user and on the other side, both on the keyboard and on the rubber feet that fold out, which mean it really doesn't slip around easily, which is really, really handy.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly things that you look at when you're buying a keyboard with because again, like my keys are fairly smooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not designed for gaming, obviously.
No.
It's the Surface Pro, but
Well, these aren't hugely textured, but they're just sort of, especially new. They were just the right texture to be really just grippy enough that you don't feel any type of slip or anything. They're getting quite shiny now, especially the E and the space bar, but still brilliant keyboard. And the macro programmability has been really handy as well. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. Right, so basically in the software you can set any key to do anything, be it a keyboard shortcut or opening a program. So for example, if I have the software open running in the background, I can press scroll lock and it will bring up Task Manager, rather than having to press Control Shift and Escape or Control Alt Delete and selecting Task Manager. So little things like that are really handy.
yeah, I guess it's just the little things like that
It
you look
is,
for as well. Like it's just the simple things that improve your quality of life.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's it, to be honest. All I'll
Harry,
say, oh,
sorry, go on.
right. All I'll say is it's 100% for the price. Wouldn't change anything. I'd buy it again tomorrow if I had 50 quid to spend.
Any questions, Harry?
No, not really.
Fair enough.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla seems to be one of the most liked games of this year. And not only have sales been astronomical for this kind of game, but it's also beaten Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War in the UK sales charts. So it's the first time in 13 years that Call of Duty hasn't topped the charts. So essentially, Assassin's Creed Valhalla has just defeated the king. And yeah, it's just massive news for Ubisoft, because that just means that they have smashed out of the park. And apparently, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, as a box release, had launch sales that were down 64% compared to last year's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So yeah, as a massive dip in sales. But if that is box, like if that is just boxed games, then it's understandable. Like it is understandable for that sort of thing, because people are more going for digital games now. A, because we're getting all digital consoles. B, because people don't want to go out and risk getting anything from going out into the shops. Also, some shops don't even sell these things anymore. I know that much, because they're only selling essential items. And yeah. So yeah, it's obviously not very good for the gaming industry at all. But elsewhere in the charts, NBA 2K21 has re-entered the chart, thanks to the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series Series X, which again is a very good thing, I think, because and expected, because for example, I am waiting for the PS5 to release in the UK before I go get any new games. So for now, I won't be getting any new games. But when they do release in the UK, I expect to see these sales going up, and also later on down the line around Christmas as well, I expect sales to go back up. So these are no longer concrete sales. And Watch Dogs Legion has taken a massive dip from number 2 to number 10 due to a 36% fall in sales week on week. Yeah, it just the whole charts in general are fluctuating massively because again, people are just waiting for new games, new consoles, and everything in between. So I don't expect these to be stable at all. And it's not helped as well by the fact that a lot of these games are AAA. So for most of the year, we've gone without all these AAA games, and now suddenly they're all releasing at once, which people now have a massive choice to make whether they want to buy Watch Dogs Legion, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Call of Duty Black Ops, or all three at once. And considering the price of games for new consoles has gone up, it's not going to be an easy choice, because I doubt people are going to spend hundreds of pounds on 3 games when one game is like 60 quid on its own. These like these are the box charts as well, I believe. So yeah, only boxed games. But yeah, that it's a really interesting read. And this is as reported on by gamesindustry.biz. Harry, how do you feel about all these games not doing as well as they normally would?
It's understandable during the times. Any other year, the sales would be going up relatively all the time ish. But all at once, I can understand the mentality of, oh, I want all 3, but I'm not spending close to a third of the entire console for a new game. Well, for 3.
I can see it. I can see where you're coming from. Like, I know there are people that have bought like PlayStation 4s, like PS4s, just because they wanted some of the PlayStation exclusives. Because let's face it, they have a lot of exclusives that are quite desired, to say the least. And I think that's an important factor as well in every console sales, is which games do they have on launch. And I think people aren't going to buy Xboxes and want PS4 games, PS5 games, and then also buy a PS5. You're either going to buy one or the other, and next gen or current gen. Although technically PS5 is now current gen. But yeah, it's all. I think it's all dependent really on what consoles can do, whether it is worth upgrading it, how long you've had your console. There's a whole lot of decisions that like a lot of factors that influence people's decisions, and I guess only time will tell. And I'll be watching the sales figures as the PS5 releases in more countries. So what do you think about it, Nat?
What's this? Sorry, I will freely admit I've been zoning out a bit.
Yeah, I've been rambling on.
You have a bit.
So just console sales have been down in the box charts because people haven't really been buying boxed games.
Yeah, but there's new consoles coming out. I'd have guessed maybe that's normal. I'm not sure.
Well, I think it's mainly due to COVID and that sort of thing, because people aren't buying box games. I think more people are tending to go digital.
Yeah, I guess people don't have the money to throw around at the moment either, do they?
No, that's a good point. Because obviously with unemployment on the rise, people aren't going to be able to afford £60 games. But
At least we're all
obviously,
employed.
yeah. Speaking of, If anyone would like to donate money, we have nowhere for you to donate it, but please feel free. We need
Just
it.
lob it out the window and hope it gets to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically we're holding out hope. Please.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think some random person out there is gonna watch it and they're gonna be a millionaire and they're gonna be like, these kids need my help, and they're gonna buy the podcast and they're gonna put it on the top of the podcast charts, and yeah, no.
They might have to get some new hosts first.
Yeah, I agree. I think new hosts might be in order.
Davy's not even turned up.
Moving on. So Tom and Jerry have been around for a fair few years, since the 1940s, in fact, and they've gone through numerous changes, and had numerous movies, including a animated movie where they actually have voices, which was certainly an interesting experience to hear Tom and Jerry talking. But you know, it seems that Tom and Jerry can't stray away from the spotlight because Warner Brothers have decided to do a new Tom and Jerry movie, and the trailer has sort of dropped. So it was supposed to have dropped on Tuesday, and I can't find it anywhere on the internet. But there is a teaser trailer, which looks like it's from Cartoon Network in Spain. But yeah, it's a very, very short teaser trailer. It doesn't give much away. But what we do know about this is Tom and Jerry are going to be in London, and they are going to be in a live-action animated hybrid. So they are going to be animate characters in a live-action world. And yeah, so apparently, so according to Screen Rant, the plot is essentially they go into a hotel. So like Jerry's in a hotel, and someone from the hotel basically wants to get rid of Jerry, so they hire a cat off the street who just happens to be Tom. And then Tom starts chasing Jerry around. Something happens, and all three of them team up to take down the hotel's manager. And yeah, it's an interesting concept, and it sounds very very Tom and Jerry. But one thing that is very important to note is that Tom and Jerry are going back to their old selves, where they're going to be completely silent. So they're not going to be like the last movie where they're actually speaking, and they're going to let their actions and facial expressions tell the tale, which is a nice little. Honestly, I like it because I thought Tom and Jerry talking just kind of ruined the experience for me, because I can never imagine them talking. They're not supposed to talk. They're Tom and Jerry. So, nah. What are your opinions on this movie?
So they're in a hotel in London.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be weird if you just wander into a Premier Inn or something, and you just come across this cat chasing a mouse with an enormous hammer? That'd be bizarre.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the last one with them speaking, but it seems like it would be a much better decision just to have their actions speak rather than anything else. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last feature film, which was the one that they're talking in, was in 1992. So it's taken them a good 28 years to make another Tom and Jerry movie.
That'd be why I haven't watched it then. Well, no, the thing is probably how did the last one do? It's probably just taken them 20-something years to forget that the last one didn't go so well.
Yeah, I mean, that is entirely possible.
1992, was it?
Yeah, 1992.
I have no idea. Let's see how well they did. Oh no, it did make money. That type of thing seems like the type of thing that wouldn't do so well.
How much we need?
$3 million. Well, 3.5.
So not a massive profit,
No,
but I think
I
this
think.
movie
Hold on a
is
minute.
going to be released in
No,
2021.
I don't know. I might be wrong. That might be right. I have no idea.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope they do manage to turn a nice little profit. And as well, the animation style is being completely revamped. I say this because it's not going to be like the old art style, which I honestly preferred. But it's gone to the sort of new modern cartoon style where they have HD graphics, and I think the only thing that's actually fared better with HD graphics is The Simpsons. Everything else, I prefer the old art style, like Scooby Doo. The new art style's horrible. Um, Tom and Jerry isn't as bad, but I still prefer the older art style. It just blends better, I think.
I'm gonna go and say again. I haven't watched any of those films or series. So you say what you will. I'll take it.
So, our next topic is a brand new game called Pulse Day, and it's not even the game that we're going to be talking as much so much about, but more the developer who has been doing a shut-in. And here to explain more is Nat.
So basically, he spent the last 10 years living pretty much entirely inside, and he's been working incredibly hard. He was doing things like he's doing some art, I think, and he's been working for a few years now on this game, which is based on someone who follows the same sort of lifestyle as him, which looks incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
I did. This was a YouTube video I found this through though, and it was a long time ago I watched it, and I haven't had the time to go back and watch it again to get anything new. This is just what I can remember from it.
Does genuinely like I've seen like the launch trailer for this and it's put
Mm.
out like 3 4 months ago now. But honestly, it looks like a weird and wacky game. I genuinely wouldn't know how to describe it because it is,
No, I'm not sure.
yeah, it's an interesting concept.
It looks quite
And
good though.
yeah, there will be a link to the launch trailer in our description on all platforms. So I do recommend that you go check it out and support him if you can because he has been spending 10 years making this game, and yeah, like I'm going through the launch trailer and I'm looking through all the comments. On every single positive comment, he has liked it. He has liked every single comment. He's taken all that time and he's replied to a fair amount of them.
Have you
And
really? That's amazing.
yeah, and like the last comment on here, someone's basically is basically just criticized him, and
What?
his reply to it is, "I'm sorry if my game offends you, but what you're saying is the last thing that I want to do because I've shut myself in for 10 years now. I want to make this game as a reflection of my struggle and my hope." And he genuinely seems like a decent, wholesome guy who has been trying to make a good game.
It'd be
And
really good to see him succeed, wouldn't it?
yeah, I would love to see someone like him succeed. Yeah,
So the
I've
launch for Windows, you might be interested to know, is I believe 2022, but you can currently play the demo. I think on Steam. Yes, I think
yeah,
you can play the demo on Steam.
and yeah, he also has a Kickstarter project. And so yeah, if you can like go donate some money to this guy. Like honestly, he deserves it. Like it's not easy spending spending a couple of months in our homes, as a lot of us have found out over lockdowns. Um, but this guy spent 10 years, and yeah, the game I honestly wouldn't know how to describe it. It may not be for everyone, but I still recommend you go check it out because um yeah, just yeah, it is just interesting. like I honestly, I think someone that shut themselves in for 10 years, like takes a lot of
Yeah,
that takes a lot of doing.
and it's someone who's shut himself in his home, and he's stayed active. He's stayed. Yeah, his English is amazing. It really is for someone who doesn't seem, as far as I can tell, have a ton of a ton of interaction. He's amazing.
It's just his comments as well, like he's like, thank you for your kindness, and he's replied to a fair amount of them, and
It's really nice to see that, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's nice to see that he's actively engaging with the like little following that he has, and I mean,
Definitely.
I don't know how many views this video's got. I think it's got I've got to scroll all the way to the top. So it's got 11,000 views on the trailer, and yeah, it's just it's I admire him in some ways. Like, just I just think to stay in your home for 10 years and to not give up on this, and just to keep at it is amazing. And this is just only him. Like, it's not as if he's got a team behind him, not as if there's a whole room full of coders. Like, as far as I can tell, this is only him.
Yeah, no, I'd have given up a day in easy.
Yeah, yeah. I can't code for anything. Like,
I mean, he seems to really enjoy what he's doing, which is. But I've done some coding, and I really like, incredibly simple stuff, and I can't do it. It drives me mad.
yeah,
I'm sure if David was here, he'd agree with me.
yeah, yeah. It's just an amazing little project.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, the link to the trailer will be down in all of our descriptions across all platforms. He has a Kickstarter project and a Discord server. So yeah, if you want to follow the game's development, the game is called Pull Stay. Um, yeah, just I recommend you go check it out. So that seems to be everything for today's episode. Um, so if you want to go follow us, you can go follow us on Twitter at Minds of People PC. You can go follow me over on Twitter as well at Complicated Host. We also have an Instagram of the same name. We have a subreddit and Discord, and yeah, I recommend you go check it out. If you want to like keep notified as well, make sure to click on the notification bell below on YouTube, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you can get notified. I'd just like to thank everyone that's been involved with today's episode and everyone that's working in the background, whether that be the community managers, whether that be all the people that are reviewing the podcast for us and giving us some decent feedback. Yeah, I honestly think everyone deserves a big shout out. And yeah, I'd also like to thank Nat and Harry for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.